Millionaire had been in a coma for 2 years, but what this orphan girl did changed everything. The noise of medical equipment echoed through the cold corridor of River Oaks Hospital in New York City when a small silhouette slipped away from supervision. Lily was just 7 years old, with messy blonde hair and big eyes that seemed to carry a sadness much greater than her age. The girl had run away from Willow Tree Home for the 3rd time that week, but this time, something different had brought her there. She slowly pushed the heavy door of room 312, where for 2 years Harrison Sterling, one of the richest businessmen in the United States, had been resting. Harrison lay motionless in the hospital bed, connected to tubes and monitors that kept his body functioning. The car accident that had nearly taken his life had left after effects that the doctors couldn't explain. Technically, he should have woken up long ago. Lily approached the bed with silent steps. Something tightened in her chest as she looked at that sleeping man. It was as if an inner voice whispered that she needed to be there. "Hi," she said softly, pulling a chair closer. "My name is Lily. I ran away from the orphanage because I think you need me." Her small fingers gently touched Harrison's cold hand. She began to talk about her day, about how she missed her mother who had left when she was 5, about the dreams she had every night. "You know, I have a secret," she whispered, looking around to make sure no one was listening. "Sometimes I feel things. I feel when people are sad inside, even when they pretend to be okay." At that moment, something inexplicable happened. Harrison's fingers moved slightly, almost imperceptibly, but Lily saw. "You heard me," she exclaimed softly, her eyes shining. "I knew you were in there." The nurse Sarah, who was making her nightly rounds, stopped at the door upon hearing the child's voice. She was about to call security when she saw the movement in the patient's hand. "My God," she murmured, quickly entering the room. "How did you get in here, child?" Lily shrank back in the chair, but didn't move away from the bed. "I didn't do anything wrong. I was just talking to him. And he heard me. Look." Sarah approached the heart monitor. Harrison's heartbeat, which had remained at a monotonous rhythm for 2 years, showed a subtle but noticeable variation. "This is impossible," whispered the nurse, checking the other machines. "It's not impossible," said Lily with a child's certainty. "My mum always said words have power when they come from the heart, and my heart is telling me to talk to him." Sarah hesitated. She should call security immediately, but something in the girl's sincerity and the patient's inexplicable reaction made her stop. "What's your name, sweetie?" "Lily Thompson. I live at Willow Tree Home nearby, but I always run away because I feel like someone here needs me." The nurse looked at the monitors again. Harrison's brain activity showed patterns she hadn't seen in months. "Have you been here before?" "No, this is the first time. But I dream about this place every night. I dream there's someone sleeping who needs to wake up." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. Sarah made a decision that would change many lives that night. Instead of calling security, she pulled up another chair. "You can keep talking to him, but I'm going to stay here, okay?" Lily nodded and went back to holding Harrison's hand. "The man with the machine said you had a car accident. It must have hurt a lot. I felt a lot of pain too when my mom left, but you know what helped me? To imagine she was just sleeping, waiting to give me a hug when I needed it most." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. In her 2 years caring for Harrison, she had never seen such a genuine display of affection for someone in a coma. "I don't have a family," continued Lily, stroking the sleeping man's hand. "But I think family isn't just about sharing the same blood, right? I think family is who takes care of us when we're hurt." Harrison, who for 2 years had shown no reaction, moved his head slightly toward the girl's voice. Sarah quickly stood up, checking the monitors with wide eyes. "Lily, keep talking. Don't stop." "Why? Is something wrong?" "No, sweetheart. Keep telling your stories. He's responding." Lily smiled, as if she always knew this would happen. "I knew you would hear me. My mother always said I had a special gift for helping sad people. She called it a healing heart. As the girl spoke, Harrison began to show signs of brain activity the doctors hadn't seen since the day of the accident. Sarah discreetly pressed the emergency button, not out of danger, but to call the medical team. Minutes later, Dr. Michael Vance, the neurologist in charge of the case, entered the room accompanied by 2 other nurses. "What's happening here?" he asked, seeing the child by the bed. "Doctor, this girl showed up an hour ago, and since then Mr. Harrison has been showing neurological responses we haven't seen in 2 years. The doctor checked the monitors, clearly incredulous. "This is scientifically impossible. Who is this child?" "I'm Lily," the girl replied without shyness, "and I came here because I felt he needed me." "Lily, sweetheart, how did you know about the patient in this room?" "I didn't know. I just felt it. It's hard to explain, but sometimes I feel when someone needs help. It was like that with Mrs. Abigail at the orphanage when she was sad, and now it's like that with him." Dr. Michael approached the bed, observing Harrison's vital signs closely. The blood pressure had stabilized at levels he hadn't seen in months, the breathing was more regular, and the brain activity showed REM dream patterns. "Lily, can you keep talking to him? But now I want you to talk about happy things, about good dreams." The girl nodded and turned to Harrison. "You know, I have a dream. I dream that one day I'll have a real family. Not that the people at the orphanage are bad, they take good care of us. But I dream of someone who will hug me when I have nightmares, who will help me with my homework, who will tell me stories before bed." Tears streamed down Sarah's face. Even Dr. Michael, known for his professional coolness, felt a tightness in his chest. "And you know what else?" continued Lily, now stroking Harrison's hair. "I dream of helping other people like I'm trying to help you. My mother always said God gave me this gift to use for good." It was at that moment that the unthinkable happened. Harrison opened his eyes for the first time in 2 years, focusing directly on the girl's face. The room fell into absolute silence. Sarah brought her hand to her mouth, Dr. Michael stood paralyzed, and the other nurses held their breath. Harrison tried to speak, but only a hoarse whisper came from his throat. "An angel." Lily smiled with a sweetness that would melt the hardest heart. "Hi, you're awake. I knew you'd come back to us." Tears streamed down Harrison's face. 2 years of darkness, 2 years of distant voices and fragmented sensations, and the first thing he saw clearly was the angelic face of an orphan girl who, somehow, had found her way to him. Who are you?" he managed to whisper. "I'm Lily. And now you won't be alone anymore." Dr. Michael approached, checking Harrison's basic motor and cognitive functions. "Mr. Harrison, do you know what day it is? Do you know where you are?" Harrison tried to process the information, but his attention remained on the girl. How long?" 2 years, sir. You've been in a coma for 2 years." The information was like a shock. Harrison tried to remember what had happened, but the memories came in confusing fragments. My company, my family." "Easy, Mr. Harrison. Let's run some tests first. Your recovery it's a medical miracle." Lily held his hand firmly. "Don't worry about that now. The important thing is that you're back." How did you know I needed to wake up?" "I just knew. Sometimes I know things without knowing how I know. It's strange, but it's true." At that moment, an elegant and nervous woman hurriedly entered the room. It was Victoria Sterling, Harrison's younger sister, who had become responsible for his medical decisions during the coma. "Harrison," she exclaimed, rushing to the bed. "Dr. Michael called me saying you—" She stopped upon seeing Lily. "Who is this child?" "This is Lily," said Harrison in a still weak voice but with a genuine smile. "She helped me come back." Victoria looked suspiciously at the girl, then at the doctor. "Dr. Michael, how did this child get in here?" "This is a restricted floor." "Mrs. Victoria, I know it seems impossible, but this girl's presence coincided exactly with your brother's awakening. We're investigating how she got in, but the important thing now is that Mr. Harrison is responding extraordinarily well." "This is absurd. A strange child can't just appear and—" Victoria stopped when she saw the pleading look in her brother's eyes. "Victoria, please. She has something special. I could hear her voice even while I was sleeping." "Harrison, you just woke up from a coma. You're not thinking clearly." Lily, sensing the tension, got up from the chair. "I'll leave if you want me to. I don't want to cause trouble. I just wanted to make sure he was going to be okay." "No," said Harrison, holding the girl's hand. "Please don't go." The situation became awkward. Victoria was clearly upset. The doctor was trying to understand the scientific phenomenon, and Lily just wanted to make sure Harrison was okay. "Lily," said Dr. Michael gently, "where do you live? Do your guardians know where you are?" "I live at Willow Tree Home, and, well, I kind of ran away again. Director Brenda is going to be mad. We need to call them, dear. They must be worried." Lily lowered her head, knowing the magical moment was coming to an end. "I understand, but can I visit him again? He's still going to need someone to talk to." Victoria was about to say no when Harrison squeezed her hand. "Victoria, she saved me. I don't know how, but she brought me back. Please." Before anyone could respond, a stern, middle-aged woman entered the room like a whirlwind. It was Brenda Collins, director of Willow Tree Home, and her face showed a mixture of relief and irritation. "Lily Thompson again, you almost gave me a heart attack." "I'm sorry, Director Brenda, but I needed to come here." "Needed?" A 7-year-old child does not need to run away in the middle of the night to a hospital. Dr. Michael stepped forward to explain the situation, but Brenda was focused only on taking Lily back. "I apologize for the intrusion. Lily has this habit of running away, but I never imagined she would make it into an ICU room." "Director Brenda," Harrison intervened in a weak but determined voice, "your girl saved my life." Brenda stopped and looked at the man in the bed, noticing for the first time that he was conscious. "What do you mean? I was in a coma for 2 years. Lily showed up here today and her voice brought me back." The director looked skeptically at the girl, then at the doctors. Is that possible, doctor?" "Scientifically, it shouldn't be, but the facts are here. Mr. Harrison woke up exactly when Lily started talking to him." Brenda stayed silent for a moment, processing the information. "Lily, is this true?" "I just talked to him, Director. I told him some stories, talked about my mother when he woke up." "Director," said Harrison, "I would very much like her to be able to visit me from time to time, during my recovery." Victoria stepped forward before Brenda could answer. "Harrison, you can't make decisions like this. You just woke up. You need to focus on your medical recovery." "Victoria, for the first time in 2 years I feel alive, and it's because of this girl." Lily looked from one adult to another, feeling small amid all that discussion about her life. "Can I say something?" she said softly. Everyone turned to her. "I don't want to bother anyone. If you think it's better I don't come back, I understand. But," she looked at Harrison, "I like talking to you, and I think you liked it too." Harrison tried to sit up in bed, still weak but determined. "Lily, you're not bothering anyone. You gave me back my life." Dr. Michael, seeing the tension rising, suggested a break. "How about we discuss this after I run some tests on Mr. Harrison? It's important we assess his cognitive and motor functions before any decision." Brenda agreed and approached Lily. "Come on, girl. You've caused enough emotion for one night." Lily approached Harrison one last time. "I'm leaving now, but I'll be thinking of you, okay? And I'll be rooting for you to get better and better." "Lily," Harrison held her small hand with both of his. "Thank you. Thank you for finding me." "I didn't find you. I think you found me. My mother always said people come into our lives when God wants them to." Tears streamed down Harrison's face. A 7-year-old girl had said the wisest words he had ever heard in his entire life. As Lily left the room accompanied by the director, Harrison watched her with a strange feeling in his chest. It was as if a part of him was leaving with her. "Dr. Michael," he said as soon as they were alone, "I need to know everything that happened during these 2 years. Mr. Harrison, let's take it easy. First the tests, then we'll talk about everything." "No, doctor. I remember fragments. My company—" There were problems, weren't there? Victoria and the doctor exchanged worried glances. Harrison, now is not the time for... Victoria, I need to know. It was 2 years of my life. 2 years. Dr. Michaels sighed. Mr. Harrison, there were indeed some financial complications, but the important thing now is your recovery. What kind of complications? Victoria approached the bed. Harrison, your partner, Derek, he embezzled a significant amount from the company. How much? Almost everything, brother. The construction company went bankrupt. The families who bought apartments were left without their homes. It was chaos. The information hit Harrison like a punch to the stomach. He had worked his whole life to build that company, and everything had crumbled while he slept. And Derek? Vanished. No one knows where he is. Harrison closed his eyes, feeling the weight of responsibility for so many families who had trusted him. How many families were affected? Harrison, you just woke up. It's not the time for... How many, Victoria? About 80 families. They lost their life savings. The silence in the room was heavy. Harrison felt as if he had woken up in a nightmare. I need to do something. These people... Harrison, first you need to recover completely, then we'll think about solutions. But Harrison couldn't get Lily's words about family and taking care of people when they're hurt out of his head. Now he understood it wasn't just him who was hurt. There were 80 families who also needed healing. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out, now continuing. In the following days, Harrison underwent a battery of medical tests that confirmed what seemed impossible. His recovery was complete. There were no motor, cognitive, or neurological after-effects. It was as if he had simply slept for 2 years and woken up perfectly fine. But the nights were difficult. Harrison couldn't sleep thinking about the harmed families and the responsibility he felt for everything that had happened. It was during one of these sleepless nights that he heard soft footsteps in the hallway. Lily, he called softly. The little girl appeared in the doorway, still in her pajamas. How did you know it was me? Your little footsteps are different, more careful. How did you get out of the orphanage this time? The bathroom window. But don't worry, I left a note saying I'd be back before dawn. Harrison couldn't help but smile. That girl had an impressive determination. You can't keep running away, Lily. Director Brenda is going to be very angry. I know, but I felt you were sad today, and when I feel these things, I can't ignore them. She approached the bed and climbed onto the chair beside it. Tell me what's making you sad. Harrison hesitated. How to explain complex financial problems to a 7-year-old child? It's complicated, Lily, grown-up stuff. My mom always said there's no problem that can't be shared. She said that when we tell our worries, they get smaller. The girl's simple wisdom touched Harrison deeply. Do you remember I told you I have a company? The one that builds houses? That's right. Well, while I was sleeping, my partner did some wrong things. He took money from people who wanted to buy houses and disappeared with everything. Lily listened attentively, her big eyes reflecting understanding beyond her years. And now those people are left without money and without houses. Exactly, and I feel responsible for it. But you were sleeping. How could you have known? That's true, but they trusted me, my company. I should have chosen my partner better. Lily was thoughtful for a moment. You know, at the orphanage sometimes bad things happen that aren't Director Brenda's fault. Like when the roof started leaking and soaked all our clothes. She was very sad, even though it wasn't her fault. And what did she do? She worked day and night to fix the roof, and she asked other people for help. And in the end, she managed to leave everything better than it was before. Harrison looked at that little girl who, once again, was giving him a life lesson. Are you saying I should try to help these families? I don't know if you should. I just know that's what good people do when other people are hurt. In that moment, Harrison had a clarity he hadn't felt in years. Lily was right. Instead of blaming himself for the past, he should focus on how to fix the present. Lily, you're very smart for a 7-year-old girl. My mum said I was born with an old soul. I don't really know what that means, but I think it has to do with understanding people's hearts. And what is your heart saying about me now? Lily put her little hand on her chest, as if she were really listening to something. It's saying you're a good person who went through bad things, but it's also saying you'll find a way to help those families. And... She hesitated. And what? And maybe we can help each other. You helping the families and me helping you not be sad. Harrison's heart tightened. That orphan girl was offering her friendship and support to a man she barely knew. Lily, would you really like to help me with the families? Really? I can help? Of course. You understand people's hearts better than any adult I know. Lily's eyes shone with joy. What can I do? First, you can tell me what it's like not to have a real home, what it's like to live in the orphanage. Well, the orphanage isn't bad. Director Brenda takes good care of us, but... She stopped as if choosing the right words. But what? But it's not the same as having a family. At the orphanage we have a roof and food, but we don't have... How can I explain? We don't have that hug that makes you feel at home. And do you think those families who lost their homes are feeling that? I think they're feeling something worse. Because they had a family and a home and now they've lost it. It's like when my mother left. First I knew what it was to have her love, and then I had to learn to live without it. The girl's emotional depth left Harrison speechless. She had described exactly what he needed to understand about the pain of the affected families. Lily, you've helped me more than you know. Now I understand better what these people are going through. And what are you going to do? I'm going to rebuild. Not just the houses, but the trust. I'll work day and night until every family has their home back. And I can really help? Yes, you can. You can always remind me why we're doing this. You can remind me that they're not just houses, but homes where families will make their memories. Lily jumped in her chair, excited. I can help choose the colors of the houses and the gardens. The kids will love having a little place to play. Harrison laughed for the first time since he'd woken up. Lily's positive energy was contagious. I think you're going to be the best consultant I've ever had. What's a consultant? It's someone who gives important advice to help with difficult decisions. Oh, then I've been your consultant for days. Since you woke up. The two laughed together, and Harrison felt something he hadn't experienced in a long time. Genuine hope. Lily, can I ask you a personal question? Sure. Didn't you ever want to be adopted? To have a family of your own? The girl's face turned serious for a moment. I used to wish for that a lot. But Director Brenda says that sometimes things don't happen the way we want, and that we have to find family in different places. And have you found family at the orphanage? A little bit. I like the other kids and Director Brenda, but... She hesitated again. But I've always felt there was a special family waiting for me somewhere. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like my heart knows there's someone who needs me as much as I need them. Harrison felt a shiver. Lily's words echoed exactly what he was feeling, as if she were a piece that had been missing from his life. And do you think that special person might be close? Lily looked directly into his eyes. I think she's right here in this hospital bed. The silence that followed was full of meaning. Harrison felt as if his heart were being rebuilt piece by piece by that girl's simple wisdom. Lily, would you like to help me not just with the families but with other things too? Like a real family? The girl's eyes filled with tears. Are you talking about adoption? I'm talking about you being my daughter. If you want to, of course. Lily didn't answer with words. She simply got up from the chair and gave the tightest hug Harrison had ever received in his entire life. I always knew, she whispered in his ear. From the first time I saw you, I knew you were going to be my father. Harrison hugged the girl tightly, feeling as if he had finally found the true reason he had woken from the coma. But their happiness would be tested the very next day, when Victoria arrived at the hospital and discovered her brother's decision. Harrison, you can't be serious, she exclaimed, pacing back and forth in the room. Victoria, I have never been more serious in my entire life. You just woke up from a coma. You're not in a psychological state to make a decision like this. Yes, I am. And this is the clearest decision I've ever made. Lily was sitting in a chair in the corner, listening to the argument with a heavy heart. Harrison, you don't know this girl. She could be manipulating you somehow. Victoria. Harrison became angry for the first time since waking up. Don't talk about Lily like that in front of her. I'm sorry, but someone needs to be the voice of reason here. You lost 2 years of your life, your company went bankrupt, you have huge financial responsibilities, and now you want to adopt a child. Exactly because of that. Lily reminded me of what really matters in life. Victoria looked at the girl who kept her eyes downcast. Lily, sweetie, do you understand Harrison's difficult situation? He doesn't have money like before. Lily lifted her face, and her answer surprised everyone. Aunt Victoria, I've never had money, but I know the difference between someone who loves and someone who just takes care. Harrison loves me, and I love him. Money has nothing to do with it. Victoria was speechless for a moment. But a child needs stability, financial security. A child needs love, interrupted Lily, with impressive firmness. At the orphanage we have food and a bed, but there's no one to tell stories just for us, to worry if we're sad, to give a hug when we have nightmares. Harrison felt proud of Lily's maturity. Victoria, she's right. And besides, I'm going to rebuild my life. I'll work to pay the debts and help the families who were harmed. Lily will give me the strength to do it. Harrison, the adoption process is long and complicated. There are psychological evaluations, financial checks. Then let's start as soon as possible. Dr. Michael, who had been following the discussion from the doorway, decided to intervene. May I give my medical opinion? Everyone turned to him. Mr. Harrison, in my 20-year career, I have never seen a recovery as quick and complete as yours, and that coincided exactly with Lily's arrival in your life. Doctor, surely there are scientific explanations. Mrs. Victoria, sometimes medicine can't explain everything. What I can say is that Lily's presence has an extraordinary therapeutic effect on your brother. That doesn't mean he should adopt her. No, but it means the bond between them is real and beneficial. And considering Mr. Harrison's emotional state when he woke up, the depression over the company's situation, Lily's support could be crucial for his full recovery. Lily got up from the chair and approached Victoria. Aunt Victoria, I understand you're worried about Harrison. And that's good because it shows you love him. But I promise I'll take care of him too. I'll do everything I can to make him happy and healthy. Victoria looked at that little girl, who spoke with the wisdom of someone much older. Lily, you're too young to understand all the responsibility. I know I'm young, but I know what it's like to be alone in the world, and I know what it's like to have someone special. I never had a father, but now I do. And he never had a daughter, but now he does. We complete each other. Lily's words touched Victoria more than she cared to admit. What if it doesn't work out? What if it's too hard? Aunt Victoria, said Harrison, nothing in life is guaranteed to work out. But I'd rather try to build a family with Lily than live alone for the rest of my life. And I'd rather try to have a real family than wait forever in the orphanage, added Lily. Victoria sighed deeply. I just want what's best for both of you. We know, Aunt Victoria, and that's why we want you to be part of our family too, said Lily, surprising everyone. What do you mean? Well, if Harrison is going to be my father, you'll be my real aunt. And I've always wanted to have an aunt. Victoria felt her eyes fill with tears. That girl had a unique way of breaking down all her defenses. Lily, you really want me to be your aunt? Of course. Big families are better than small ones. More people to love. Harrison smiled, seeing how Lily was winning Victoria over. So, sis, will you support us? Victoria looked from one to the other, seeing the genuine happiness on both their faces. I'll try. But you promise you'll take it slow? That you'll do everything right. We promise, said Harrison and Lily at the same time, making everyone laugh. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The first step of the adoption process began a week later, when social worker Jennifer Blake came to the hospital for the first evaluation. Mr. Harrison, I need to be honest. Your current financial situation is a concern. How do you plan to support a child? Ms. Jennifer, I understand the concern, but I have a plan. I'm going to sell my penthouse in the Upper East Side and use the money to start a new company. A smaller company focused on affordable housing. That's just an intention. What do you have that's concrete right now? Lily, who was coloring at a nearby table, looked up. Ms. Jennifer, can I say something? Of course, dear. At the orphanage, we learned that a home isn't just about having money, it's about having someone who cares for you. Harrison may not have much money now, but he has a lot of love to give. Lily, love is important, but children also need material security. I know. But have you ever seen a rich child who isn't happy? Have you ever seen a poor child who is very happy? The girl's simple question made the social worker pause to think. Yes, I've seen both cases. Then you know that what makes the difference isn't money, it's love. Harrison felt proud of Lily's reasoning. Miss Jennifer, can I show you my business plan? Of course. Harrison picked up some papers he had prepared. I've researched sustainable affordable housing. There's a government program that offers financing to construction companies that focus on social projects. My idea is to build small housing complexes for low-income families. And how does that solve your immediate situation? Well, I've received an offer to be a consultant on a major housing project. The salary isn't high, but it's enough to support us modestly while I work on my own project. The social worker analyzed the documents. It's an interesting plan, but what worries me is the fact that you barely know each other. Lily, how do you feel about leaving the orphanage? I feel complete. It's hard to explain, but it's as if a part of me that was missing has come back. And you, Mr. Harrison? Why specifically Lily? Harrison thought carefully before answering. Ms. Jennifer, I could say it was the way she woke me from the coma, or how she helped me find purpose again. But the truth is simpler. I love her. From the very first moment I saw her, I felt she was my daughter. Lily, do you feel the same? I do. I always knew I had a father somewhere in the world. I just didn't know where to look. But when I saw Harrison, I knew it was him. The social worker made some notes. Do you understand the process could take months, and that during this time, Lily will have to return to the orphanage? We understand, said Harrison. But Lily can visit me, right? Yes, under supervision, and you'll have to go through family therapy sessions. Is that a problem? Asked Lily. No, dear. It's just to make sure you're ready to be a family. We're already a family, said Lily simply. The therapy will just confirm that. The girl's confidence impressed the social worker. Very well. I'll start the process, but I want to be clear that if any problems arise, any sign that it's not working, there won't be any, interrupted Harrison. I promise I'll be the best father I can be. And I promise I'll be the best daughter, added Lily. In the following days, Harrison was discharged from the hospital and moved into a simple apartment near River Oaks Hospital. It was much smaller than his old penthouse, but it had something he'd never had before. It was ready to welcome a daughter. He set up a special room for Lily, with a small bed, a study desk, and shelves for books and toys. Every detail was thoughtfully chosen. Lily visited the apartment 3 times a week, always accompanied by the social worker or a staff member from Willow Tree Home. With each visit, the bond between father and daughter grew stronger. Dad, said Lily during one of these visits, trying out the word that still sounded new in her mouth. Yes, daughter? Have you heard any news from the families who lost their homes? Harrison was surprised by the question. Lily never forgot about the people who were suffering. I'm trying to get in touch with them. It's difficult, because many have changed their addresses and phone numbers. We could try a different search. How so? Well, those families are probably living in rental houses, right? And likely in more affordable neighborhoods. We could look in the public schools in the area. Harrison stopped what he was doing and looked at Lily with admiration. Lily, that's a brilliant idea. The children from those families would be enrolled in schools near where they live now, and also at the health clinics. Mothers always take their kids to the doctor. You're a genius, you know that? Lily smiled, proud to have helped. Can I go with you to look for these families? Of course you can. You help me understand what they're feeling." The next day, Harrison and Lily, accompanied by Victoria, began visiting schools and health clinics in the area. Lily's strategy worked perfectly. In a week, they had located 20 of the 80 affected families. The first family they visited was Mrs. Geraldine's, a 65-year-old woman who had lost the apartment where she planned to spend her old age. "Mr. Harrison," she said upon opening the door of the small rented house, "is it really you? I thought I'd never see you again." "Mrs. Geraldine, I've come to apologize, and to say I'll do everything I can to fix this situation." The woman began to cry. "Mr. Harrison, I lost the savings of a lifetime. My children had to help me with the rent. I feel like a burden to them." Lily approached Mrs. Geraldine. "You're not a burden. You're a grandma. And grandmas are special people who deserve to have their own little house." Mrs. Geraldine looked at the girl. "Who is this little girl?" "I'm Lily, and I'm going to help Harrison build new houses for all the families." "Lily is right, Mrs. Geraldine. I'm going to rebuild the project, but this time it will be different. It will be better." "How so, Mr. Harrison?" "I learned a few things during these 2 years. I learned that a home isn't just walls and a roof. It's where a family feels safe and happy," Lily added. "And the new houses will have a garden for you to plant flowers, a porch to have breakfast while listening to the birds, and a big kitchen to welcome your children and grandchildren." Mrs. Geraldine's eyes filled with tears. You're serious?" "Very serious," said Harrison. "And more, it won't cost anything beyond what you've already paid. I will cover the difference." "But Mr. Harrison, how will you manage to do this?" "With a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and with the help of this special consultant right here," he said, pointing to Lily. "Consultant?" "Yes," said Lily proudly. "I help Harrison understand what makes a house a real home." Mrs. Geraldine hugged the girl. "Dear, you really do understand. I can see it in your eyes. I live in an orphanage, so I know how important it is to have a place that's just ours. And when will these houses be ready?" asked Mrs. Geraldine. "In 1 year," replied Harrison. "I know it's a long time, but I promise it's worth the wait." "Mr. Harrison, I've already waited 2 years. I can wait 1 more if it's to have my dream house." When they left Mrs. Geraldine's house, Lily was radiant. "Dad, did you see how happy she was?" "Yes, I did. And it was thanks to your ideas about the garden and the porch." "It's just that I keep imagining what it would be like if I had a house, what it would be like if I could plant flowers and have a place to read." Harrison stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. "Lily, you will have all of that. Our house will have a garden, a porch, and an entire library just for you." "Really? Really? And you will help me choose every detail? Can I choose the color of my wall? You can choose the color of the whole house if you want." Lily jumped for joy. "I want yellow, yellow like the sun, so the house is always cheerful. Then it will be yellow." In the following weeks, Harrison and Lily visited all the families they managed to locate. Each meeting strengthened Harrison's determination and Lily's compassion more. It was during one of these visits that they received an unexpected surprise. Arriving at the Higgins family home, they were greeted by a man Harrison recognized immediately. "Derek?" said Harrison, not believing his eyes. It was his former business partner, thin, worn down, very different from the well-dressed man he had known. "Harrison, I didn't expect you to come here. What are you doing at the Higgins family home?" I live here now. Dorothy Higgins is my aunt. When I lost everything, she took me in." Harrison was confused. Derek was living with one of the families he himself had harmed. "Derek, do you know what you did to these people?" "I do, and I live with that guilt every day." Mrs. Dorothy Higgins appeared at the door. "Mr. Harrison, what a surprise. Derek, ask the gentleman to come in." "Mrs. Dorothy, do you know who he is?" "Yes, I do. He's my nephew who made a very big mistake, but he's also the boy I raised after his parents passed away." Harrison was perplexed. "Derek, what happened to the money?" "Harrison, can I explain? I know you have no reason to listen to me, but—" Lily, who had been quiet until then, approached Derek. "Are you the man who took the family's money?" Derek knelt to be at the girl's eye level. I am, and I regret it every day. Why did you do it? Because I was scared. My wife was very sick. She needed expensive treatment abroad. I thought I could borrow the money and pay it back later. And what happened? She passed away before I could return the money. And then I became desperate. I spent the rest trying to run from the guilt. Lily looked into Derek's eyes. Are you truly sorry? I am. More regretful than you can imagine. And you want to help fix it? I do, but I don't know how. I lost everything. I have no way to return the money. Harrison, watching the conversation between Lily and Derek, began to understand something. Derek, you know construction as well as I do. I do. And you must know suppliers, workers, all the people we need to rebuild the project. I do. But Harrison, I don't have the money to... I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about work. Hard work to fix what was broken. Derek looked surprised. You're offering me a chance to help. I'm offering a chance at redemption. For both of us. Lily smiled. That's what families do. They forgive and help each other. Mrs. Dorothy Higgins began to cry. Mr. Harrison, you are a very good man. My nephew made a terrible mistake, but he has a good heart. Mrs. Dorothy, we all make mistakes. What's important is what we do after the mistake. Derek stood up with tears in his eyes. Harrison, I accept. I'll work for free, for as many hours as necessary until all the families have their homes. Not for free, Derek. You will receive a fair wage, but all the rest of the profit will go to improving the families' homes. Harrison, I don't deserve... Derek, Lily interrupted. Everyone deserves a second chance. That's what my mother always said. From that day on, the project's dynamic changed completely. Harrison, Derek, and Lily formed an unlikely but extremely efficient team. Derek knew all the suppliers and managed to negotiate special prices for materials. Harrison used his contacts to secure government funding. And Lily became the soul of the project. She visited the families regularly, bringing house design drawings, listening to suggestions, creating an atmosphere of hope and unity among all the people involved. It was during one of these visits that something happened that would change the course of everything. Lily was showing the drawings to the family's children when she noticed a girl her age, named Sophie, was very quiet. Sophie, didn't you like your house? I did. It's just that I don't know if we can wait a year. Why? My mother is very sick. The doctor said it's because of the stress of losing our home. She cries every night. Lily became worried. Where is your mother now? She's lying down. She can't work anymore. Lily asked Sophie to take her to her mother. Martha, Sophie's mother, was indeed very ill, thin, pale, with sunken eyes that showed the weight of depression. Mrs. Martha, Lily called softly. Hi, dear. You're the girl helping Mr. Harrison? I am. And I came here because Sophie told me you're not well. Oh, honey, that's adult stuff. You don't need to worry. But I do worry. And I have an idea. What idea? Have you ever thought about helping with the house project? What do you mean, dear? Well, you could help choose the details of the houses, the colors, the gardens, the layout of the rooms. You're a mother, so you know what families need. Martha sat up in bed. You think I'd be useful? Of course. You'd be super useful, and that way you'd be busy with good things instead of being sad. Lily, you are very wise for a 7-year-old girl. It's just that I've been through sad times too, and I learned that when we help other people, the sadness goes away. Martha hugged Lily. Do you want me to talk to Mr. Harrison about this? Yes, and I'm sure he'll love the idea. The next day, Lily told Harrison about Martha's situation. Dad, could we give her a job? She needs to feel useful. Lily, that's an excellent idea. Martha could be our family projects coordinator. What does that mean? It means she would be responsible for ensuring each home perfectly meets the needs of each family. And would she earn money? Of course, a fair wage for her work. You are the best father in the world." Harrison was moved. It was the first time Lily had officially called him father. "And you are the best daughter in the world." When they offered the job to Martha, she cried with emotion. "Mr. Harrison, I don't know how to thank you. I was feeling so useless." "Mrs. Martha, you are not useless. You are essential. No one better than a mother to know what a family needs in their home." And was it all Lily's idea? It was. She has a very special heart. She really does. That girl is an angel. Martha's work was so good that other families began to get involved in the project. Fathers helped with construction on weekends. Mothers organized meetings to discuss the details of the homes. Children drew pictures of the gardens they wanted. The project, which had started as an obligation for Harrison to fix a past mistake, transformed into a true community united by a common dream. Lily was the center of this union. Her ability to understand the emotional needs of each person made everyone feel heard and valued. It was during one of the community meetings that Harrison received a call that would once again change the course of the story. "Mr. Harrison, this is Ms. Jennifer from Social Services." "Ms. Jennifer, how are you?" "I'm well. I'm calling with news about Lily's adoption process." Harrison felt his heart race. "What kind of news?" "Good news. All the evaluations were positive. You are approved for the adoption." Harrison couldn't speak for a moment. "Mr. Harrison, are you there?" "Yes, I am. It's hard to believe." "Believe it. Lily can officially become your daughter. We just need to schedule the final hearing." "When?" "Next week, if possible." Harrison hung up the phone and stood still, trying to process the information. "Dad, are you okay?" asked Lily, noticing his expression. "Lily, do you want to hear some news? Good or bad?" "The best news in the world." "Tell me. Next week you're going to officially become my daughter." Lily was silent for a moment, then jumped into Harrison's arms. "Really? Really, truly?" "Really, truly. You are going to be Lily Sterling." "And you are going to be my father forever?" "Forever and a day." Tears streamed down both their faces. Around them, all the families from the project applauded and cried along. Mrs. Geraldine approached. "Mr. Harrison, we want to give you a gift." "What gift, Mrs. Geraldine?" "We got together and decided, when the homes are finished, the first one to be built will be your house. Our way of thanking you for everything you've done." Harrison was moved. "Mrs. Geraldine, that's not necessary." "Yes, it is, Mr. Harrison. You gave us back our hope, our dignity. It's the least we can do." Lily approached Mrs. Geraldine. "Grandma Geraldine, can I call you that?" "Of course, my dear granddaughter of the heart." "Harrison's and my house can wait. First, let's build your house and all the other families' houses. Our family is big. We have to take care of everyone." Lily's words deeply touched everyone present. A 7-year-old girl had understood the true meaning of community and family. Derek approached. "Harrison, you have a very special daughter." "I do. And she teaches me every day how to be a better person." "She taught me too. She taught me that everyone deserves forgiveness if they are willing to work to fix their mistakes." The adoption hearing happened the following Friday. The courtroom was full of people. Victoria, Dr. Michael, Sarah, Director Brenda, from the orphanage and many families from the project. The judge, Judge Robert Miller, called Harrison and Lily forward. "Mr. Harrison, after reviewing all the reports and evaluations, I can say I have rarely seen such a clear case of a vocation for fatherhood." "Thank you, Your Honor." "And Lily, are you certain you want Mr. Harrison as your father?" "I am absolutely certain, Your Honor. He is the best father I could ever have." "Very well. Then, by the decision of this court, I declare that Lily Thompson becomes the legitimate daughter of Harrison Sterling and shall henceforth be known as Lily Sterling." The courtroom erupted in applause and tears. Harrison hugged Lily tightly. "Now you are my daughter forever, and you are my father forever." After the ceremony, everyone headed to the land where the new housing development would be built. Harrison had prepared a surprise. "Everyone, I would like to officially announce the name of our project." People gathered around. "This housing development will be called Hope Gardens. in honor of the orphanage where I met my daughter, and in honor of all of you who never lost hope." The people applauded, moved. "And one more thing," Harrison continued. "Lily and I have decided that our house will be built here too, right in the middle of all the others, because our family is large and includes all of you." Lily stepped forward. "And I have an announcement too. When I grow up, I'm going to study architecture to build special houses for children who live in orphanages, so they can have a home too." The Hope Gardens project was completed exactly 1 year later, as Harrison had promised. The houses were beautiful, functional, and full of thoughtful details. Each family received the keys to their new home at a large community celebration. Harrison and Lily moved into their yellow house with a flower garden and a library where father and daughter spent afternoons reading together. Derek had completely redeemed himself, becoming Harrison's partner in a new construction company focused on social housing. Martha had become one of the most respected coordinators in the company. Victoria, who had initially resisted the adoption, became the most loving aunt Lily could wish for, always present for important dates and special weekends. Dr. Michael Vance continued to monitor Harrison's health, but only as a family friend. The doctor often said that Harrison's case was the most extraordinary of his career. Sarah, the nurse who witnessed his first awakening, became Lily's unofficial godmother, always reminding her that she had a special gift for healing hearts. Mrs. Brenda from the orphanage visited Lily regularly, proud to see how the girl had found her family, and at the same time helped so many other families. 5 years later, on the 10th anniversary of the first meeting between Harrison and Lily, now she was 12, the family organized a special party at Hope Gardens. "Dad," said Lily, now an intelligent and caring preteen, "do you remember what you told me at the hospital about me being your consultant?" "Of course I remember." "Well, I have a new project to present to you." "What project?" "I want to create a special school here in the residential area, a school where children learn not only the regular subjects, but also about community, about helping each other, about turning pain into hope." Harrison hugged his daughter. "Lily, you never cease to amaze me. It's just that I learned from you that building houses isn't enough. We have to build communities, and communities need education." "And how do you imagine this school?" "With colorful classrooms, gardens where children can plant things, a large library, and workshops where they can learn trades. But most importantly, a school where no child feels alone." Harrison smiled, seeing in his daughter the same wisdom she had shown at 7 years old, now matured and expanded. "You know, Lily, I think it's time we started our family's next project." "Really? Really? Hope Academy, what do you think?" "I think my mother, from wherever she is, must be so proud to see what happened to that little orphan girl who once ran away from the children's home. And I'm sure she's proud to see the amazing woman you're becoming." That night, father and daughter stayed on the porch of their yellow house, looking at the lights from the other homes in Hope Gardens, where happy families lived their everyday lives. "Dad, can I ask you a question?" "Always." "Do you think it was fate, our story?" Harrison thought for a moment. "I don't know if it was fate, Lily, but I know it was the best thing that ever happened in my life. For me, too. Sometimes I think, what if I hadn't run away from the home that night? Then I'd still be sleeping and you'd still be waiting, but you ran and I woke up, and now we're here. Together. Forever." And so, as the stars shone over Hope Gardens, Harrison and Lily Sterling planned their future, knowing that whatever challenge lay ahead, they would face it together as the family they were always meant to be. The story that began with a comatose millionaire and an orphan girl had transformed into something much greater. A lesson in how true love can awaken not only sleeping bodies, but also souls that had forgotten how to dream. And the most beautiful part is that this love story between father and daughter multiplied, creating an entire community where families who had lost everything found not only their homes, but also the certainty that there would always be someone to support them in difficult times. End of story. Now tell us what you thought of this moving story. Do you believe true love has the power to awaken sleeping hearts? Leave your opinion in the comments, And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other stories that touch the soul. Your participation is very important to us.